Florida possesses more hidden nightmares than a Disney villain's backstory. You understand the Florida they sell you. Beaches, palm trees, lizards accomplishing push-ups on your porch. But there's another side they don't place on postcards, towns where the AC is busted, the jobs are gone, and hope clocks out early. And no, I'm not discussing Miami traffic or alligator politics. I mean places you've never heard of. And honestly, there's a reason. We're diving into the 5 worst places to inhabit in Florida, not the usual suspects. These are the forgotten towns with beautiful views and brutal stats. One possesses a football program more famous than its economy. Another, let's just articulate, its water smells like the 1980s. Contemplate you understand Florida? Prove it. Because what nobody explains you is the worst place to inhabit isn't always the one with crime. Sometimes it's the one with silence. And trust me, you're not prepared for the town that might literally dissolve itself. Choosing incorrectly could cost you thousands, or your sanity. So hit that subscribe button if you appreciate avoiding disasters before they happen. You'll thank yourself later. Let's break it down. Number 5. Pahokee, where soil can grow anything except a functioning economy. In Pahokee, the soil can grow anything except a functioning economy. Yeah, let that line sink in while you picture a town surrounded by some of the richest farmland in America, but still struggling to keep the lights on at City Hall. The truth beneath the sugarcane and city budgets, Pahokee sits on the southeastern edge of Lake Okeechobee, quiet, beautiful, and holding more untold stories than a courtroom on a Friday afternoon. You'd contemplate a place built on agriculture, lakefront access, and football legends would be thriving. But then the reality hits harder than the humidity. The numbers. Unemployment has spiked as high as 35% in past downturns. Median household income sits around $30,000, almost half the state average. Utilities and infrastructure, chronically underfunded, leading to rolling maintenance issues. Population decline has squeezed the tax base, making city services experience like budget optional. Crime trends are tied directly to economic stagnation. Not chaos, the slow burn category, not the headline category where it gets political. Pahokee has spent years caught between county oversight, state grants, and federal promises, all of which arrive slower than a Florida DMV line. There have been debates over mismanagement, missing funds, and development deals that vanish like mirages, leaving residents inquiring the same question: who's actually steering this ship? A local Reddit comment put it best. Pahokee is where ambition goes to sweat while waiting for city funding. And surprisingly, shockingly, the town still produces NFL athletes at a rate that makes college scouts treat it like a pilgrimage site. When escape is a dream, football becomes the portal. The emotional, financial, and structural consequences, living in Pahokee isn't a disaster movie. It's a slow documentary about what happens when systems fail quietly. You experience it in the water bills, the roads that require resurfacing, the city projects that stall until subsequent fiscal year, the grants that might come through, the job postings that appear like they were written in 2014 and forgotten. Government transparency is a recurring character here, sometimes missing from the scene, sometimes delivering tough truths about the cost of running a city with a shrinking tax base and rising requirements. If economics builds the walls of a town, governance is the foundation. And Pahokee's foundation, let's just articulate, it's been patched more occasions than a college student's MacBook charger. Let's talk reality. I respect resilience, but Pahokee humidity possesses hands. It grabs you, shakes you, and negotiates your lunch plans. The mosquitoes demonstrate up like they're running a protection racket. And the city roads? Some of them experience like they were paved during the Carter administration. If your car survives a year here, it deserves a medal. Or at least therapy. Picture this. Step outside at sunrise. The lake is glowing. The fields smell like damp sugar and gasoline. A heron glides across the water. Beautiful, correct? Until the cane-burning smoke drifts in. The buses rattle past. And you remember the nearest grocery store is a road trip, not a walk. It's paradise with fine print. And if you contemplate Pahokee as complicated, wait until you observe the subsequent place where the town isn't just struggling, it's practically negotiating its own existence. Number 4. Belle Glade, Her soil is her fortune, but not yours. In Belle Glade, they articulate the soil is so rich it'll grow anything except opportunity. Let's get this out of the way. Belle Glade possesses potential, the category of raw, gritty potential that should have made it a standout Florida city. It possesses farmland, history, sunshine, and a view of Lake Okeechobee that'd make a painter cry. But then reality demonstrates up, and it doesn't knock. It just walks correctly in and sits on the couch like it pays rent. Let's talk facts, not fiction. Welcome to Belle Glade, the heart of Florida's sugarcane empire. A place where sugar is king and everyone else is barely getting by. Here's what the numbers say. Median household income, approximately $26,000. Poverty rate, hovers around 35%, over double the national average. Unemployment, regularly among the highest in the state. Violent crime rate, over 60% higher than the national average. Rental availability, extremely limited. And yes, even the affordable units aren't all ways habitable by most individuals' standards. And here's the surprising part. Belle Glade's official motto, her soil is her fortune. Yeah, maybe someone should check the books because someone's cashing in, and it's not the residents. The real cost of living here. Belle Glade is what happens when agriculture makes millions and the workers get breadcrumbs. This town supplies a massive share of the nation's sugar. But observe closer and you'll observe cracked sidewalks, failing infrastructure, and underfunded schools. Local government has confronted serious criticism for mismanagement over the years. Budget transparency, spotty, efforts to revitalize the dimension, half-baked, underfunded, or stalled in bureaucracy. Where it gets messy, Palm Beach County gets rich off Belle Glade's output, but most of that revenue never cycles back into the city. What you get is a classic example of resource extraction without reinvestment. The money departs, the issues stay. What nobody tells you. Substantial of Belle Glade's challenges aren't from failure, they're from being ignored. This is the category of place where you could be standing subsequent to $1 billion crop, while your streetlight hasn't functioned in 9 years and your neighbor's roof is held together by hope and a single Home Depot tarp. Here's what gets me. You drive past miles of golden cane fields. It smells like barbecued sunlight and dust. And then you hit the town and it's like someone forgot to finish the level. Potholes the size of rental cars. A grocery store that closes at 6:00. You want to grab a coffee? Beneficial luck. The most modern thing in a 10-mile radius might be the vending machine at the DMV, and it only takes coins. Picture this. You walk outside. The sky is flawless, the air is thick, not in a beachy manner, in a guess the pesticide category of manner. In the distance, sugarcane fields stretch to the horizon. But the roads are cracked, the power flickers, and across the street, someone's front yard possesses more junk than a pawn shop. It's like Florida took a vacation and departed Belle Glade behind. Would you rather inhabit in a town with no jobs but a view, or one with jobs but no soul? Let me understand in the comments. I'm bracing for chaos. Number 3. Century. Should we just stop existing? Century, Florida. Population 1,700. Give or take whoever moved out last week. This isn't just a small town. Century is the category of place where even time seems like it packed a suitcase and never came back. Blink and you'll miss it. Blink twice. You might conclude up mayor by accident. A town with a name that feels like a joke. At first glance, Century sounds like something you'd find on a historic walking tour. Maybe a charming southern nook with white porches, old diners, and individuals who still wave from their front porch. But then you get there and you recognize it's more ghosted by the 20th century than quaint Americana. Here's what we're working with. Median household income, $30,000. Poverty rate, over 33%. City financial audits, a mess. In 2019, the state discovered hundreds of thousands in missing or mismanaged funds. Infrastructure, leaking water systems, patchy power, and broadband that's slower than a turtle with performance anxiety. Job market. Let's just articulate even Dollar General possess trouble hiring. And yes, they've seriously discussed dissolving the town. As in, should we just discontinue existing? You understand you've got challenges when your city council meetings sound like a Reddit thread titled, "Are we still a town or just a vibe?" What it feels like to live here. Living in Century isn't dramatic. It's not headline-level chaos. It's the slow drip of forgotten promises. City services experience like they're powered by duct tape and group prayers. Economic development plans stall in committee meetings that no one live streams. And governance? At occasions, it's unclear who's in charge, or if anyone genuinely wants the job. State audits have flagged Century for fiscal mismanagement multiple occasions over the past decade. Misplaced funds, sloppy bookkeeping, questions nobody seems to answer. The town's own mayor once admitted they were accomplishing the optimal they can, which is the municipal equivalent of, "We're winging it." Can we talk about this? The parking lot with no actual building attached? Like, Century possesses these random paved zones that appear like they were meant for something that never got funded. It's like Sim City on low battery. Add in roads that experience like they're actively resisting tires, and you've got a town that's basically challenging your car to a fight every occasion you depart the driveway. Picture this. You step out into the Century morning. Crickets, pine trees, a breeze that smells like someone mowing a ghost's backyard. You wave to a neighbor. Or was that just a curtain moving? You open your mailbox. It's empty. Of course it is. The town budget probably forgot stamps. Would you inhabit in a place where the government once misplaced half its budget if the rent was under $500? Be honest. I'm observing. Okay, sidebar. Did you understand Century was once a coal mining boomtown? That's correct. From coal to chaos. The rebrand is not going excellent. Remember when Belle Glade possessed a motto about its soil being a fortune? Yeah. Century's motto should be, "Under construction forever." Number 2, frostproof. Where the weather doesn't lie, but almost everything else does, frostproof Florida. Where the weather doesn't lie, but almost everything else category of does. This town sounds like a promise, a warm little haven immune to cold, hardship, and frostbite of all categories. But surprise, that name was a marketing stunt, like naming a swamp Paradise Hills and wondering why tourists depart crying. The stat is behind the sunshine. Let's be clear, frostproof didn't get on this list for being loud. It got here for being quiet in all the incorrect manners. Here's what you're working with. Median household income, just under $37,000, well below Florida's average, over 25% of residents inhabiting below the poverty line. Limited job market. Citrus and seasonal function dominate. But after years of citrus greening and hurricanes, beneficial luck. Public schools score below average across the board. Violent crime rate, double the national average. Oh, and the nearest genuine hospital? Bring snacks. You'll be driving. One Reddit user described it. A peaceful place to expire of boredom or detrimental infrastructure. It's not dangerous in a headline-grabbing manner. It's the slow category, stagnant wages, underfunded everything, and a vibe that experiences like a paused loading screen. The real cost of the lie. Frostproof sells you warmth, but inhabiting here often means fighting economic chill every single day. The town possesses charm, small homes, older neighbors, citrus groves, but not much else. And while it might sound peaceful, that peace comes with a price. No opportunity, limited services, and a government budget that experiences like it was written on the back of a receipt. You understand how some places experience like they're on the brink of something substantial? Frostproof experiences like it's waiting for a comeback that no one's planning. Let's talk irony. You name your town Frostproof in 1915 to trick citrus investors. That's clever. But 100 years later, when the economy's frozen and the job market's iced over, ironic doesn't even cover it. Let's talk about those roads. I drove through Frostproof once and hit so many potholes I contemplated I was in a video game bonus level. Then there's the downtown. One antique store, a gas station, and a cafe that closes at 3 o'clock p.m. Like, what if I want sadness after lunch? And don't even inquire about Wi-Fi. If you get a signal, keep it alive. That's your lifeline. Picture this. You wake up to the sound of a distant rooster, not an alarm. The sky's soft orange. The air smells like sun-baked grass and diesel. It's quiet, peaceful, maybe too peaceful. You drive to get breakfast. The one diner is closed on Tuesdays. Your car rattles over 3 potholes before you hit the main road, which is somehow less paved than your driveway. Compare this. In Weston, Florida, the crime rate is half the national average and median income is $115,000. In Frostproof, that same number is closer to the poverty line and the crime rate is double. Same state. Wildly different weather forecast for your bank account. Number 1. Fort Meade, the oldest town you've never heard of. If Florida is a storybook of sun-drenched dreams, Fort Meade is the chapter they ripped out and forgot to reprint. This is not a joke. This town experiences like a rough draft. All set up, no payoff, a forgotten sentence at the bottom of a Wikipedia page that never got sourced. Welcome to the oldest town you've never heard of. Fort Meade was once a substantial deal. It's the oldest city in Polk County, used to be a trade hub, a phosphate boom town. It possessed railroads, investors, momentum, and then, poof, progress took the freeway around it and never looked back. Here's where we are now. Population, approximately 5,000 and slowly shrinking. Median household income, approximately $38,000. Poverty rate, over 23%. Job market, limited. One Redditor articulated, "If you want function, you either pray Walmart's hiring or learn how to fix your neighbor's lawnmower." Schools, underfunded, local economy, hanging by antique stores and hope. And despite its historic charm, Fort Meade has been quietly sinking under infrastructure neglect, underinvestment, and a serious identity crisis. It's not thriving, it's not collapsing, it's just stalling. When a town runs on nostalgia but forgets to update, living in for. Fort Meade experiences like getting stuck inside an old photograph. Pretty, sure, but stiff, static. The roads are cracked, the shops are mostly closed. The economy? It's limping along on agriculture, seasonal function, and dollar store logistics. Government assistance, minimal. Development plans, mostly wishful contemplating on a whiteboard somewhere. It's the category of place where the city budget experiences like a group text, and half the replies are read but never answered. And yet, no one's genuinely mad. They're just tired. Tired of being forgotten. Tired of waiting on the subsequent version of Fort Meade that never quite uploads. You know it's bad when the largest economic disruptor in your town is a Dollar Tree opening across the street from Family Dollar. Bold strategy. Okay, I'm going to say it. Why does every Florida town like this possess a dozen churches, 3 antique stores, and 1 Chinese takeout spot inside a gas station? And why is the Wi-Fi slower than molasses in a Florida summer? You attempt to stream something, and the buffering wheel gives you time to question your existence choices. I checked Yelp. Someone gave the library 1 star for being closed on Mondays and smelling like old tax returns. Welcome to Fort Meade. Picture this. You wake up to the sound of cicadas, not traffic. You walk out the front door. It's quiet, still, peaceful, smells like pine needles and humidity. The roads are empty. You wave at a neighbor because it's the same one you've observed for 20 years. There's beauty in the calm, until you recognize the nearest job fair is 30 miles away and the only coffee shop is your kitchen. Fort Meade is the category of town where if a tumbleweed rolled through Main Street, it'd probably get elected to city council unopposed. Final thoughts. Appreciate this video if you've ever visited a town and contemplated, did I accidentally time travel? Subscribe if you want to avoid accidentally moving to one. You'll thank yourself when Zillow initiates acting shady.